Hey everyone, this is Dean with DCA Crypto. Got some major news for you guys today about ETH, the ETFs, what this could mean for ETH over the next couple months here. Where is it going to next? So I want to cover that in this video, so I'd appreciate if you subscribe to my channel, smash that like button, and let's jump into it. All right, today we're going to be covering Ethereum and what this means for the price of Ethereum over the next couple of months here and over the next probably year or so in this bull run. So this is huge, major bullish news. We weren't quite expecting, and a week ago we definitely were not expecting the ETH ETFs, the spot ETFs to get approved. And then all of a sudden, boom, they turned their tune, changed it around, and all of a sudden they approved it yesterday. This is historic for crypto, and I'm going to get into this video why this is so big. This is kind of bigger than the Bitcoin ETF, other than the fact that that was the first crypto ETF and it was Bitcoin. But the ETH ETF means actually bigger news for the crypto industry than most people realize, in my opinion. And I'm going to explain to you why here. First of all, Ethereum is kind of like the network of networks for crypto. And this is huge because now that ETH is an ETF, there's a good chance that some of these other cryptos like Solana and those are going to get approved next. Now, when will that happen? We don't know. There's nothing been filed yet or anything like that, but it could happen over the next year or two now that the Ethereum ETFs are approved. This was the next big step for crypto. We're starting to see some major adoption here. So what does this mean for ETH? Well, this means that now ETH is likely going to be considered a commodity, and it's going to be less regulated, in the fact that there's going to be regulation for it, but it's going to be less strict because they're going to need to allow the Ethereum ETFs to thrive and survive, and for all these layer 2s and stuff to survive that are on Ethereum, because it is the baseline network for all of those. So this is huge for crypto. Most of the cryptos out there are on Ethereum in one way or another. So you got to kind of have to think about that aspect of it, not just Ethereum itself. The fact that all of these other layers are on top of Ethereum is very bullish for crypto now that ETH is the ETF and it's approved. So we're going to jump into the charts here. So currently we're at 2.68 trillion market cap, so we've come down a little bit. Bitcoin's had a slight correction over the last couple days. It was at, I think, hit right about 70,000. Seems to be a pretty high resistance zone. I keep telling you guys, we need to get above that 71,000 level really, and make that our support level so we can get up to the next leg. ETH right around $3,800 as of this recording last night. So what's it going to do over the course of the next few days, few weeks here, in the few months? That's the big question here, because we didn't see a big pump with ETH with this news. It pumped with the rumor of it, but it didn't pump with the news. So what happened here? We're going to take a look at that. So this article here by the block.co, crypto industry cheers as historic move as Ethereum ETFs get the green light. VanEck said the improved political backdrop will lead to further victories in the digital asset space. The SEC approved spot Ethereum ETFs amid changing political dynamics among lawmakers. And then the decision affirms that Ether is a commodity, others have said. So some people are saying, well, it's got to be a commodity now that it's an approved ETF. It can't be considered a security. So we'll have to see how this plays out. I think under this new FIT 21 bill, it would be considered a commodity, which is huge. So they're saying here, capping what appears to be the reversal of fortune, spot Ethereum ETFs were approved by the SEC on Thursday, a move that comes after shifting political sentiments appeared to influence the agency's view of the new financial instruments. We expect the improved political backdrop will lead to further victories for the digital asset investors and developers via new laws and in the courts that draw investments to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other open source blockchain software. VanEck's head of digital assets research, Matthew Siegel, immediately after the announcement said, along with BlackRock, Grayscale, and Fidelity, VanEck was another one that applied for the right to issue the spot ETFs for Ethereum. There were 8 of them that were approved overall. So they're saying this is a historic move for the second largest crypto asset. So they're saying here that the SEC chair, Gary Gensler, and the agency's commissioners really didn't have anything to do with this approval. They came out with a statement on it, and they're saying that in order approving 19B-4 forms for ETFs from BlackRock, Fidelity, Grayscale, Bitwise, VanEck, ARK, Invest Galaxy, and so on. There was a line at the end that sheds a light on how the decision went down. The SEC said they won't be commenting on it, but basically they're saying that for the commission, by the dividing of trading in markets pursuant to diligent authority is how it went down. And I don't exactly know what that means, but it's kind of like some kind of regular process that they just kind of go through for approving things. It just kind of went through a regular process. There was no vote on this per se. They're saying that this is normally how these should be approved. It should be just a process, a matter of doing it, and not some kind of vote from Gary Gensler and the board on this. Because if they would have voted on it, it could have, been declined. So it just kind of went through its process, basically, I think is what they're saying here. So this article here, and I'm going to get into the charts in just a second, show you what I think Ethereum is going to do. And I want to cover this real quick because I think this article is false. So I'm going to give you my opinion on it, but Hill.com. The House crypto bill sows the seeds of the next financial crisis. They're saying that the FIT21 bill could line up for a financial crisis if they allow it to go through here. And I'm going to tell you why this is a bunch of BS. So they're saying a buzzy new financial player once thought invincible nearly collapses due to poor market management and reckless bets gone wrong. Congress holds hearings. Regulators offer measures to limit speculation and increase disclosures and oversight, but the industry calls this approach burdensome and harmful to investors. An industry champion makes a case for a lighter touch regulatory approach and succeeds. So they're saying that this scenario is plucked out of the 1990s derivatives industry, has eerie parallels for today. The House considers the cryptocurrency legislation, the FIT21 bill. The industry claims it will foster innovation while protecting consumers, but we should fear a repeat of the past. The bill fosters weak regulation for crypto and undermines investor safeguards. They're saying here that in the 1990s, a long-term capital management hedge fund in 1998, the firm nearly collapsed due to a series of bad trades that cost it $4.6 billion. To avoid contagion, the New York Fed and private firms stepped in with a cash infusion and saved the day for this poor hedge fund capital management firm. The Treasury came up with regulatory ideas, and they basically changed the laws to protect this from happening, stop this from happening again. But we need to protect the consumers and the public here. This has nothing to do with saving the public. This was saving a stupid hedge fund's ass in this stupid, betting with leverage in this market back in the 1990s, and they got it handed to them, and they should have had it handed to them. And no, we had to save the hedge fund because they're so important. No, this has nothing to do with crypto. And the comparison between the two, then they go into how FTX scandal and, there's parallels between this and Sam Bankman-Fried and the FTX scandal, blah, blah, blah. Well, hello. FTX scandal happened under the current legislation and the current laws. There was no protection for us. None. Zero. So this FIT21 bill will actually declare that you cannot commingle funds like FTX did. So this article is just a stupid article out here written to, demonize crypto and demonize the FIT21 bill, and it's basically just propaganda. So it's probably written from who knows, who influenced this article. My guess would be probably Maxine Waters and her crew or someone probably influenced an article like this, and this is just a guess on my part, but articles like this that basically not telling the truth at all and not giving you the whole picture and the whole side of the story. But I wanted to cover that in case anybody ran across this article out there. I think it's false information pretty much. All right, we're going to jump into the charts here. So what happened with Bitcoin, and what is going to happen with Ethereum? This is just a guess. We don't know what's going to happen with Ethereum, but you kind of look at the Bitcoin ETFs and think maybe the same thing could happen here. So Bitcoin back here on January 10th, it was, down here around 48,000, shot up to 73,800, basically a 53% move. So if you were to calculate this out, it did have a correction afterwards all the way down to 38,000. So we could see ETH have a slight dump and then take off. But the other thing to keep in mind with the Bitcoin ETF, during this whole time, even though we moved all the way up from 48,000 after the correction, all the way up from 38,000 all the way up to 73,800 here, this whole time Grayscale was selling all of their Grayscale trust ETF. They had outflows. They were selling their funds for Bitcoin this entire time. They had outflows this whole time, and we still pushed all the way up to almost 74,000 with all those outflows from the Grayscale trust. So we don't have that with Ethereum. We don't have that selling pressure. So if you figure a move from Ethereum's current price, 53%, let's look at where we're at now with this approval and see where this could take us, because this is interesting here. So if we did that and we had this move up to 53%, it's right down in here, that's going to put us around $6,000 ETH if this happens here over the next couple months. And that happened, if you look at Bitcoin, that happened in a matter of 2 months here. This was January 10th, and then by the 19th of March, somewhere in that range here, is when, so just over 2 months is when we had that. So if we're at basically the end of May right now, if we go to the end of July, basically, that could be putting us around $6,000. It could possibly put us much higher because we don't have the selling pressure that we had with the Grayscale trust on Bitcoin. So it could potentially put us even higher with ETH, and ETH is actually a lower market cap than Bitcoin, so it doesn't take as much money to push the price up. So will we get up to $6,000 or $7,000? We'll have to see. Maybe 7,500. Who knows what we're going to do? But we could expect possibly ETH to get up to $6,000 or so over the next couple months. Now, this isn't financial advice. I'm not telling you to go put a long in for Ethereum, because, you know, as you've seen before, we did have a correction with Bitcoin first before we took off, but we don't know what this is going to do. I'm just kind of speculating here on what the price of ETH could do. But over the long term, this is very bullish for Ethereum, and I think this price is going to be nothing for ETH later on. You know, we could see Ethereum push up, you know, way past our initial goals for this because it got approved for this ETF. So we'll have to see what happens here. But that's kind of what I wanted to cover in this video, guys. We'll have to see what happens with ETH over the next few months here, but this is extremely bullish for crypto that this happened. Doesn't mean we won't get some kind of small correction or even a larger correction over the coming months, because we've been very bullish. That's still a possibility, but you know, things are looking pretty good right now, so we may not see Bitcoin get much lower than where it is right now before we take off into new all-time highs. We'll have to see what happens here. Don't have a crystal ball, but that's pretty much what I got for this video, guys. I really appreciate it. For those of you who watch my channel, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm. We'll see you on the next video.
Tell me what you want, tell me what you need, tell me.